I'm Natalie Hellens.
I'm Jack.
Aaron.
Max.
And Ashley's not here. She has a fever, but hopefully she'll be here on Thursday. Wednesday.
All right. Imagine a student finally arriving at the University of Oregon, eager to pursue his dreams and goals as a business major. Yet, upon finding that there are few business-related figs, is dismayed at the lack of educational opportunities available to freshmen, specifically focusing on developing skills necessary to becoming a successful modern-day leader. Despite his enthusiasm and willingness to learn material early on, he is forced to wait until his junior year before he can fully immerse himself into the business curriculum. After 2 years, he has no doubt gained many technical skills which will be helpful to his general success within the world of business. However, unbeknownst to him, he hasn't even begun to learn the skills which he could have used throughout his time as a pre-business student and essential to him developing into a better business leader.
The world of business is always evolving, and its most recent evolution has been the rise of recognition of the importance of emotional intelligence. Increasing employers are looking for individuals with a developed sense and understanding of emotions. For example, a business relationship consulting firm found that 71% of managers believe EQ is more important than IQ. With funding from Excel, my team has found the most cost-effective strategy to educate pre-business students on the importance of EQ. We are specifically targeting freshmen because the earlier a person understands what EQ is, the more experiences they can associate with that throughout their time here in
The university. Let's see, I can go. So as Aaron said, 71% of executives find that emotional intelligence is more important than, or is more highly ranked than IQ. And this can be found in examples from Talent Smart, which is a corporate emotional intelligence training center. And they found that 75% of Fortune 500 companies actually train their employees in emotional intelligence. This training allows these employees to build on their skills of specifically being social, their communication skills, and their empathy skills. Go to the next slide. So many of you are thinking that emotional intelligence is probably an innate skill that most people are born with, but Dr. Travis Bradbury states that emotional intelligence is actually a trait that needs to be learned and practiced. And you can think of emotional intelligence as an igloo. So the top of the igloo is, or iceberg, not igloo, sorry. The top of the iceberg is IQ. So many people, you can show off your skills of IQ, speaking the language, being an accountant. But the massive part of who you are is actually the part that most people can't see, and it can be described as emotional intelligence. You can go to the next slide. So emotional intelligence is a fundamental base for critical skills. If one doesn't have the skill of emotional intelligence, they are pretty much at a disadvantage in their lives. So if we take a look at the university's current efforts to engage their students in emotional intelligence, we can see that they are actually putting more efforts towards their faculty and staff through the UO Leadership Academy Summit and I can't remember right now. But it's really important to educate your faculty and staff on emotional intelligence. But the mission statement of Excel is to prepare business students to be successful leaders. And a successful leader can be described as someone that has hard skills, which University of Oregon is doing great, is excelling at, obviously teaching our students, how to how to give speeches and how to learn a language, but they're really lacking in the ability to teach their students soft skills like emotional intelligence, thus giving them a disadvantage to reach their full potential as a business leader. So our team proposed a solution, building better leaders for student group, which is a FIG, also known as a FIG. So this FIG will allow students to engage and reflect on topics such as business and emotional intelligence with their like-minded peers and a qualified discussion leader.
Our first objective is to build better leaders to improve individual performance and collaboration within groups by setting group projects and other class bodies. The second is to build better business leaders by giving students the tools they need to develop their business skills in the business context. And our third is to educate freshmen on the significance of emotional intelligence by interconnecting action classes concept to emotional intelligence during the legal discussion process.
Is there not a table?
Objective number 4. Have students demonstrate an understanding of social awareness by being able to effectively modify their interactions with peers based off of these emotions.
So for our solution, we've already touched on that. It's going to be a FIG, and we're titling it Better Business Leaders. Its main goal really is to introduce these key topics surrounding emotional intelligence to these freshmen, which they can then use throughout the next 2 years before they even get into the business school, kind of practicing these skills and using that in their education. And it'll really help draw more value out of those first 2 years if they have these skills. Specifically, we want to develop these skills through the FIG, through group projects, team building activities, out of classroom experiential learning opportunities like hikes, like practice client lunch, dinners, etc. Try and get them acclimated with many different business scenarios they might find themselves in where emotional intelligence will be extremely useful and the best place to be practicing these skills. And then also an important part of our FIG will be these self-reflection, self-assessment activities. A lot of the value of emotional intelligence is gained through introspection. And of course, also research activities focusing on the growing importance and recognition of the importance of emotional intelligence to drive home really how important the emotional intelligence is for future business leaders and how employers are increasingly looking for it in their candidates.
So we decided to set some dates for ourselves to have our solution have a little bit of structure and make sure that we keep on track through this entire process. So the first date we have is May 1st. And here we just want to start getting the word out. Send out informational brochures as we're targeting the upcoming fall term is when our FIG will be in action. The next date we have up here is May 15th, and that is when registration opens for students, and students begin registering. Here, hopefully we've already done a good job of getting the word out by then, so that students will begin thinking about if they want to maybe sign up for our FIG if they're interested in becoming a better business leader. Next date we have here is June 27th through July 30th. And these are the introduction days. I'm sure you guys all remember the introduction days, getting to know the incoming freshmen and trying to build friends so you'll have people to associate with when you get here on campus. And here we're going to continue to distribute information about our FIG, what it entails, what specific classes you'll be taking within the FIG. The next date we have up here is September 23rd, which is when fall term starts and when students begin attending their classes. And that's when the FIG classes begin, and those weekly reflection periods and discussion classes with your FIG members will also begin. The next day we have here is October 5th. We have a dinner planned with all FIG members at P.F. Chang's. This is just supposed to be kind of like a bonding exercise, getting to know your FIG members, just a little bit more, kind of build that comfortability with them. And then the next day we have October 26th, hike at Spencer's Butte. This is also meant to work on getting more comfortable with those in the FIG, and there'll also be some opportunities to work on some emotional intelligence activities. Next is November 16th. Here we're just going to be practicing client meetings outside of the classroom. Basically, kind of just almost like just getting practice in an interview situation where high risk situation can put a lot of pressure on people. So these are just low risk, kind of like what we're doing now, low risk exercises where people can begin to be comfortable in that type of setting.
All right, so like I said earlier, I believe this is the best and most cost-effective way to act on emotional intelligence. And most of the costs actually go to faculty, which is $4,300, and then the other about $500 are for the outside the class activities.
Okay, just like the important idea to know that the top companies in the world put effort to educate their employees on emotional intelligence. So the University of Oregon currently lacking and needs to implement the first year interest group to make sure that all business students be able or have the ability to be a good leader by using our solution.
Emotional intelligence is an essential trait of any great leader. However, here at the University of Oregon, we lack opportunities for our students to improve on these skills. We are confident that our Building Better Leaders first-year interest group will help students learn and improve upon these emotional intelligence skills through experiential learning opportunities. Excel is determined to building better leaders through experiential learning, which is why we're proposing our solution to you. With your help, we can help U of O students become great leaders in the business world. Thank you.
Any questions?
Oh yeah, we're gonna ask some
yeah, that's
questions.
right.
You guys got any questions for us? We would love to hear some feedback.
So, I have a question. Do you feel that like doing the FIG as like within their freshman year is going to be more beneficial than having something a little bit similar but more mature coming in their junior year? Or what's your thoughts on that?
So I personally think that the hand